Hello everyone. Today I have Miss Tessa, like I do a lot of days. We are working on polite canter transitions. Tessa has some pretty funky conformation. She toes out on all 4 feet. So cantering is really hard for her and it makes her very, very anxious. She's a quarter horse, so she was likely bred for pony games, barrel racing, things like that. She seems to be a little bit overbred for it. Her leg conformation is a little bit too twisty-turny. Okay, I think I oversimplified that a little bit by saying twisty-turny conformation. So like I said, Tessa was built for barrel racing and pole bending and things like that, and those are disciplines that rely heavily on being able to make super tight turns, and that's what she was bred for. But unfortunately, the fact that her legs are really narrow underneath her and that she toes out makes her super unbalanced. So anytime she tries to take a turn, you can feel her leaning over where her center of gravity should be, which is why she gets really anxious. And I imagine at some point in her life, she's taken a few spills and fallen over. And so she has a pretty high level of anxiety going into canters and tight circles and things like that. And she is, she's a mare. She can be a little hot sometimes, but her anxiety really comes out when it's time for those transitions. So it's really hard for her to walk, trot on a straight line, and it's really hard for her to canter in general. She's about 20 years old, and she's come a really, really long way. When I first started working with her, she had a complete U-neck, and she's gotten a lot more comfortable, a lot more fit. She's made some really good strides, but the canter is still a work in progress. And, ultimately, she's not a competitive horse. There's no pressure on making her perfect per se, or making her a really well put together horse, but we do want to make sure she's fit and comfortable. So the main thing she does is when she goes for a canter, she makes really, really tight turns and she throws her butt in the air. She's a bucker. They're not necessarily high bucks, they're not mean bucks, but there is a worry that she's going to fall over on herself. It's just how she's kind of built. So typically I do not canter her under saddle. She will take off full speed if I give her the whole ring, but if I keep her on a 30-meter circle, she tries to spiral in and fall over on herself. So generally I canter her on a lunge line. I'll show you what I do. Yeah, good girl. Canter.
best girl.
Working through it together. Yeah.
Jojo! Really? Jesus. You think a 35-year-old Shetland pony would just like kind of chill? But no. Wiener slanging, jumping on her. Absolutely ridiculous, Jojo. Ridiculous behavior.